Another day, another ride on the BMW G310GS. Woohoo! Alright guys, so another day, another ride on the BMW G310GS. And although I was highly critical yesterday, let's try and focus on the good things about this bike, because as there is with any bike, good and bad things. Anyway, so if you guys missed my last video, quick specs: 313cc liquid cooled engine, produces 34 horsepower. It's got more of a high end range inclined torque. You just look at it, great looking bike. So basically the 5 things I like about this bike, starting off with the most obvious and probably its best feature. Now this is something a lot of people can disagree with me about because it is subjective, but personally I think this bike looks amazing. The aesthetics are on par with the BMW 1200GS because it basically looks like that bike but just a smaller version. But it doesn't even look that small that it looks like you're riding a 300cc. It doesn't even look like that. It still looks quite large in its appearance, and I just love the gold upside down front suspension fork. It looks really cool. The color scheme is not too bad, and I know you can get in other color schemes that look even better. One of the other color schemes I really like is the black and grey one, which looks pretty damn amazing. And the other thing I love about this bike is that it is quite a capable all-rounder. So obviously we know small bikes are generally good at being commuter bikes because of their good mileage. They're agile, they're easy to throw around, they're small, and you can easily get them through in and out of traffic. Well, this bike is no exception, but it adds one thing on: it's also capable off-road. It's not as capable as, say, a Kawasaki KLR 650, which is mostly meant for off-roading, but it is decently capable off-road. The third thing I like about the bike is how comfortable it is. Look how soft, look how soft the suspension is. It's friggin' ridiculous. You can adjust the rear suspension, so that's a good thing. You can tighten it up a bit. You can't adjust the front suspension though. Okie dokie, so let's look at the riding position. So straight away you can see quite comfortable upright riding position. Handlebars are slightly raised, but not too much. I really like the riding triangle of this bike, where my hand position is, foot position and my arse position. It all comes in line, so that's a great feature of this bike. So I'm 6'1". I can easily reach the ground and flat foot it. 32.9 inch seat height, and it's basically, this bike just has a really decently comfortable riding triangle. Look at me just going on this gravel here. Bike's got no problem doing it. It's quite comfortable. Although it's not super comfortable, it's more comfortable than most bikes. So that's the third thing I like about it, the comfort, overall comfort. The fourth thing I like is the fuel mileage. Although it's only got a measly 11 litre fuel tank, and I guess they've done that to keep the weight down a bit, the 11 litre fuel tank doesn't really stop its touring capabilities because it gets 30 kilometers per litre. And when it's getting 30 kilometers per litre, it can go 30 times 11. What's that? 330 kilometers on a full tank. And I've been riding it all day yesterday. I've already done 270 kilometers, and the fuel range still shows about 30% fuel remaining. And the fifth thing I like about this bike is just that it's just so beginner friendly. It's just so ready for beginners to jump on and have a bit of fun. It comes with a low seat height. It's got a really comfortable seating position. The power on it is quite manageable and very easy to handle, although it still provides decent enough excitement for the rider, with a 0 to 100 of 7 seconds and a top speed of 143 kilometers per hour. And it's got a lot of short gears. The gears are quite short, so you find you'll be constantly shifting through the gears, and although that can be quite frustrating for a lot of people, I find it can be quite fun. But yeah, just the other beginner friendly things about the bike, it's got ABS, ABS that you can switch on and off at the flick of that switch there, and that's great because obviously you want to turn ABS off when you want to let loose and rip it on some off-road gravel trails, and you want to have ABS on for safety when you're riding on the road, just in case you need an emergency brake. So that's really good for beginners. ABS, I believe, is very, very needed for beginner riders. It can be a lifesaver. Not just beginner riders, any rider. It can be a goddamn lifesaver. Anyway, so overall, BMW, although they've overpriced this bike, they've delivered a package that gives you decent acceleration, decent top speed. In addition to that, you've got a decent amount of comfort. It can act as a commuter bike. It can act as a bike that you can hit the twisty roads on the weekend with, although the overly soft suspension does interfere with that a bit. And it's a bike that you can take on little adventures here and there. So it's a pretty fun bike in the end. The riding enjoyment's pretty high on this one. It's quite unpredictable when you're shifting through the gears, and when you're really thrashing the crap out of it, it can be slightly unpredictable. It's not a precision instrument like the Kawasaki Ninja 400 is. When you ride the Ninja 400, it's so predictable. The power that it outputs, you know exactly what to expect at what rev range. On this one, it's not so clear. I think BMW have done an okay job at delivering an entry-level BMW motorcycle into this little small adventure motorcycle segment. Just reduce your price and the bike will be even better, because I always look for value for money. If you can get the Kawasaki Versys 300 cheaper than this, which you can, it's a twin cylinder 300cc engine, and it just dominates this bike, and it's cheaper.